Night settles over a small shanty house built above the water. Inside, a weak light bulb flickers, barely holding back the dark. The wooden floor feels cold under bare feet. Between the uneven planks, you can see the water below, murky and moving, littered with garbage. The smell drifts upward too, a reminder that what flows beneath the house is where everyone around empties what they cannot keep inside. Coins rest on the table, their tiny clatter echoing like quiet verdicts. Outside the window, Christmas lights blink on a billboard with a distant cheer of a world that feels so far away. A child wearing tattered sleeveless stands in the doorway and asks the question every parent fears in times like these.
Ma, anong handa ngayong Pasko?
And the mother smiles, not the kind that blooms from joy, but the kind stitched together to protect a child from truths too sharp for their age. In homes where coins determine what tomorrow tastes like, scarcity is rarely a choice. Sometimes it is inherited. In most instances, it is imposed. And sometimes it is offered back to you as guidance, wrapped in soft language of advice. As the sun rises, the scene shifts. Officials stand before cameras, presenting the idea that a full Noche Buena can be made from 500 pesos. Grocery aisles appear, discounted pasta, spaghetti sauce in Tetra packs, the smallest block of cheese, the cheapest loaf in the row. There is a certain virtue in simplicity, people say. A celebration can endure as long as we keep expectations small enough to fit the price. But every price tag carries a story. A few stories lift us. Others quietly excuse a reality nobody wants to confront. Now the camera moves upward into halls lined with warm lights and polished floors. Banquet tables stretch long beneath chandeliers. Plates overflow. Reports reveal comfortable budgets for functions, events, and travel. The contrast does not scream. It simply exists, like a truth waiting patiently for someone to stop pretending not to see. Between the mother counting coins and the leaders enjoying abundance lies a fracture line, a subtle one, but deep. A society can withstand storms, crisis, and hardship. Yet it falters when those who shape the rules insist others follow standards they themselves never live by. Imagine a world where those in authority praise simplicity while enjoying extravagance. In that world, what is the moral weight of compliance? If the public complies, sky-high prices and corruption becomes normalized. If they resist, they risk being judged unreasonable, ungrateful, or worse, extravagant. Guidance loses its innocence when it is delivered by those untouched by its consequences. That point, one must ask whether it is still guidance or something softer on the surface and more coercive beneath. The scene shifts into the everyday rhythm of crowded markets, long tormenting commutes, and parents who calculate if they could still buy a decent meal for their family. Their faces carry a familiar mixture of pride and exhaustion. Resilience is a virtue, but resilience can be a clever trap. Praise people long enough for making do, and eventually they will forget that making do is not the same as being treated fairly. The child's voice returns, not asking about prices or politics, only fairness. Because fairness is the one question no economic narrative can outrun. The view pulls back to reveal the larger forces at play. Inflation rising like an invisible tide, wages unmoved, markets shifting while households shrink their lists again and again. When the system urges people to adjust, the burden quietly transfers from system to citizen. Hunger becomes poor budgeting. Poverty becomes a failure of discipline. Inequality becomes a matter of personal attitude. Who decides what counts as enough? And why is enough always defined in ways that weigh heaviest on those who have the least voice? There are no clean paths out of this dilemma. Every path asks for something. Compliance keeps the peace, but slowly erodes dignity. Resistance preserves dignity, but invites scrutiny, shame, or blame. The burden is rarely shared equally. Those with the least power are often asked to give the most understanding. A system can tell you what to follow, but it cannot tell you what it's all for. That question is one each person answers in silence. The story returns to the dim, makeshift kitchen. The coins have not moved. The mother looks tired in a way that sleep cannot fix. The child asks again, softer this time.
Ma, yung sa TV, yung kay Aling Bebang, bakit parang ang saya-saya ng Pasko nila, tapos sa atin parang hindi?
And the room goes still. When you're taught to accept less so others can have more, how long before you stop believing you deserve better? This has been the Unthinkable Room. Until next time.